हरे कृष्णा। तो समस्त भक्त हम हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं आज का श्रीमद् भागवतम क्लास में। तो वे रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 5 चैप्टर 8 वर्स नंबर 9। अहोवतायं हरिणा को नकः कृपणः ईश्वरः रथचरण परिभ्रमणारायण स्वगणः सुहृद्बन्धुभ्यः परिवर्जितः शरणं च मुपासादितः मामेव मातापितरः भ्रातृज्ञान्तिं युथिकामः च एव उपयः नान्यं काञ्चन वेदः मयि अति विश्रब्धयसि चात एव मया मत्परायणस्य पोषणपालनपरिणलालनम् अनसूय अनुसूयह्यं शरण्य अपेक्षदोषविदुषा। Translation. The great King Maharaj Bharat began to think, alas, this helpless young deer, by the force of time, an agent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has now lost its relatives and friends and has taken shelter of me. It does not know anyone but me, as I have become its father, mother, brother, relatives. This deer is thinking in this way, and it has full of faith in me. It doesn't know anyone but me. Therefore, I should not be envious and think that for the deer my own welfare will be destroyed. I should certainly raise, protect, gratify, and fondle it. When it has taken shelter with me, how can I neglect it? Even though the deer is disturbing my spiritual life, I realize that a helpless person who has taken shelter cannot be neglected. That would be a great fault. Purport. When a person is advanced in spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, he naturally becomes very sympathetic toward all living entities suffering in the material world. Naturally, such an advanced person thinks of the suffering of the people in general. However, if one does not know of the material suffering of fallen soul and becomes sympathetic because of bodily comforts, as in the case of Bharat Maharaj, such sympathy or compassion is the cause of one's downfall. If one is actually sympathetic to fallen, suffering humanity, he should try to elevate people from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. As far as the deer was concerned, Bharat Maharaj became very sympathetic, but he forgot that it was impossible for him to elevate a deer to spiritual consciousness, because after all, a deer is but an animal. It was very dangerous for Bharat Maharaj to sacrifice all his regulative principles simply to take care of an animal. The principles enunciated in Bhagavad Gita should be followed. Yam hi na vethayanti ete purusham purusha rishabha. As far as the material body is concerned, he cannot do anything for anyone. However, by the grace of Krishna, we may raise a person to spiritual consciousness if we ourselves follow the rules and regulations. If you give up our own spiritual activities and simply become concerned with bodily comforts of others, we will fall into a dangerous position. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So in this verse we see that how Bharat Maharaj was attached with the deer and he sacrificed his spiritual practice for the welfare of the deer. And Prabhupada very nicely explains the importance of compassion, but at the same time he says one should not sacrifice his spiritual activities in the name of compassion for bodily comforts. So we'll try to understand this point here through through a topic, compassion versus devotion. So in our Vedic system, the quality compassion or mercy is very widely, vividly explained in our Shastra. It is said in our Shastra that dharma is useless without daya. Lavanya rahitam rupam vidyaya varjitam vapu jalatyaktyam sarobhati naeva dharmam daya vina. That is said, form without beauty is useless. Speech without knowledge is useless. Pond without water is useless. Similarly, dharma without daya is useless. Dharma daya vina. In this way, Shastra glorifies dharma. And it is said also, daya is greatest of all dharma. Nacha vidya samabandhu, nacha vyadhi samaripu, nacha apatya samasneha, nacha dharma daya para. That is said, nacha vidya samabandhu. There is no greater friend than knowledge. Nacha vyadhi samaripu. There is no greater enemy than disease. Nacha apatya samasneha. There is no greater affection than the affection towards one's offspring, son or daughter. Nacha dharma dayapara. There is no greater dharma than compassion. It is also said every activity is useless without dharma. Nasa diksha, nasa bhiksha, nadanam natapaha, nattad dhyanam, nattad maunam, daya yatra navidyate. If there is no daya, diksha has no meaning, bhiksha has no meaning, dana has no meaning, tapa has no meaning, dhyana has no meaning, and mauna, silence has no meaning. It is said that the essence of all scripture, that is daya. If someone has asked Srila Vyasadeva, the writer of Vedanta philosophy, writer of Veda, tell me in one line, what is the essence of your scripture, all your philosophy, all your explanation in Vedic literature? He said, Ashtadasa Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanam Dayam Paropakaraha Punyaya Papaya Parapidanam. So he said, in all the scriptures, all the Vedas, one thing has mentioned, that is Paropakaraha Punyaya, merciful towards other living entities, kindness towards other living entities is punya, pious activity. Papaya parapidanam. And what is papa? Giving pain to other living entities is papa. So this is the explanation of daya or compassion in our scripture. Therefore, this quality is very, very important to practice for every person. He may be a devotee or he may not practice devotional service. You think this world exists because of daya. It is said, Pivanti nadya swayameva nambha swayam na khadanti phalani vriksha nadanti sasyam khaluvari vaha paropakaraya satyam vibhutayah. So it is said, Pivanti nadya swayam eva na ambha. The river never drinks his or her water. Swayam na khandanti phalani vriksha. The trees never eats their own fruits. Nadanti sasyam khalubarivaha. The clouds never enjoy the fruits or the grains which is produced by their rain, by their water. Paropakaraya satyam vibhutaya. Therefore, a noble person, a person with a good character, a knowledgeable person should live for paropakara. This verse, if you analyze, that this world exists because of daya or kindness of other living entities. We live in this world because of compassion of the trees, rivers, clouds, sun, and other living entities. By the compassion of the nature. Therefore, the nature of the nature is compassion. प्रकृति का प्रकृति ही दया है. Therefore, if a compassion is destroyed, if compassion is not there, there cannot be existence in this world. There cannot be life in this world. Therefore, life exists because of compassion of nature and other living entities. Therefore, it is very essential to practice compassion. If you go against compassion, then there will be conflict, problem in the society. There is war, there is conflict, there is many problems in the society because of this quality, because of not having this quality of compassion, lack of compassion. The nature is made for compassion. By nature, it is compassion. But human being polluted the nature. We have polluted the water, polluted the air, polluted the soil, polluted the food. We have polluted everything. Because we, modern society, they don't consider that we should have compassion for the environment also. The Vedic lifestyle based on this compassion, therefore they never invented anything which is exactly polluting the environment. Because when environment is polluted, our life is also polluted. And our health is also polluted. Our mind is also polluted. This is compassion. Maintaining purity in the environment, maintaining purity in the mind is the act of compassion. If you live for enjoyment and give up this quality, then that is modern society. Therefore, this daya is very, very important in life. Therefore, compassion is the solution for all passion of the world. And this is the highest quality in a human life. Even Lord Krishna is always addressed as Karuna Sindhu. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. So he is Karuna Sindhu. He is not Karuna Pond, Karuna Talab, Karuna Nadi. He is Karuna Sindhu. So it refers that he is the embodiment of Karuna. God cannot be separated from Karuna. And if a person has all qualities in his life, but if that person is devoid of Karuna, then that person is exactly devoid of real God consciousness. And that person cannot be glorified and respected by anyone. Therefore, Karuna is essential quality for everyone to be accepted by God, and we accept God also because of Karuna. If God is giving everything, but he's doing all things, but if he has no Karuna, then we are not exactly, we cannot be attracted towards that God. Therefore, Krishna is referred always, addressed as Karuna Sindhu. As Uddhavji says, Aho bakiyam stanakalakotam jigham sayapayad api asadbhi lebhe gatim dharti uchitam tato anyam kamba dayalum saranam brajemam. Alas, How shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of the mother to a sea demon, Putana? Although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. This is the Karuna, first quality Lord shown in this world by liberating a lady who came to kill Lord Krishna. The killer is liberated. The killer is given the highest position in the spiritual world. Therefore, Lord Krishna is embodiment of Karuna. And the Mahabharata war, the seed for Mahabharata war was when there was no expression of Karuna or compassion towards Draupadi by all the kings and great personalities with great power and great qualities. All their qualities, all their powers became useless because they did not express their compassion towards Draupadi. And Lord came, expressed his compassion in the form of Vastra. That is Krishna's compassion. Because of this quality, because of lack of this quality, there was Mahabharata war, and everyone was suffered because they did not fulfill their responsibility by expressing compassion, Karuna. And Lord killed all of them. Even Pandavas suffered 13 years because of this fault, we can say. Therefore, Karuna is very, very essential in our life. तो हम करुणा सिंधु का भक्त हैं. तो करुणा सिंधु का भक्त होकर हमारा हृदय में करुणा का बिंदु ही नहीं रहेगा तो करुणा सिंधु का भक्त हम किस प्रकार हो सकते हैं. Therefore, this quality is very, very important. Devotion and compassion cannot be separated. You can't say, I am a devotee, I don't have compassion. That means we have to think about our consciousness. Therefore, devotion and compassion cannot be separated, just as heat and light cannot be separated from fire. A compassionate person may not have devotion to Lord Krishna, but a person with devotion must have compassion towards all living entities. If you think I have devotion but I do not have compassion, that means you do not have attained the mature state of devotion. So in case of Bharat Maharaj, here we see that how Bharat Maharaj expressed his grief, his tension, his understanding towards the deer. He says that there was no one than me to take care of this deer. But in reality, everything is taken care by God. But Bharat Maharaj is in illusion in this state. The compassion has no problem for Bharat Maharaj. He protected the deer from the water and protected his life out of compassion, as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport first line. It is natural for a Krishna conscious person that he is very much compassionate to all living entities. Therefore, compassion has no problem, but attachment has the problem. So here, problem for Bharat Maharaj is attachment, not the compassion. He protected, he can take care of deer also, giving some grass or something, some fundal sometimes. It's okay. But he compromised his spiritual practice and always thought about the deer, welfare of the deer. That is the problem. Therefore, we should see the point here. Compassion is different and attachment is different. If that compassion creates attachment, that is not compassion. That is illusion. As Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, Arjuna was very compassionate towards his relative, Dayapara. But in second chapter, first verse, first purport line, mein he says, compassion for material body is foolishness. It is a illusion. Therefore, when our compassion is transformed to attachment, then that is the problem. एक बार एक साधु के पास एक लड़का आया और लड़का कहा कि महाराज मेरा दिल टूट गया। तो साधु ने कहा तेरा दिल कौन तोड़ा? ना मेरा दिल मेरा पिता माता ने तोड़ दिया, भाई ने तोड़ा, बहन ने तोड़ी, गर्लफ्रेंड ने तोड़ दिया, मेरा दिल टूट गया। तो साधु ने कहा तू संसार में दिल क्यों लगाया था? ना संसार तो दिल से ही चलता है, इसलिए मैं संसार में दिल लगाया था। साधु ने कहा तुझे कौन कहा था कि संसार दिल से चलता है? तो संसार दिल से नहीं चलता है, संसार दिमाग से चलता है। इसलिए संसार में तुम दिमाग लगाओ और दिल भगवान पे लगाओ। हमारा उल्टा होता है, हम संसार में दिल लगाते हैं और दिमाग भगवान पे लगाते हैं। सचमुच भगवान है क्या? ये रासलीला करने वाला भगवान कैसे हो सकता है? ये राम भगवान कैसे हो सकता है? वो तो रो रहे थे, सीता जी का अपहरण हो गया और बानर सेना का सहायता ली, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? तो दिमाग लगाते हैं भगवान में। बट इन रियलिटी वी शुड लिव by engaging our intellect in this world and engaging our heart in God. That is the point. कहने का अर्थ है, the point is that we should not be attached in this world. We should be intellectually very compassionate when there is necessary, when there is opportunity for the act of compassion. We must express our compassion, but at the same time we should not have a attachment for this world or for any bodily comforts or any personality. So his mistake was not compassion, his mistake was attachment. But out of compassion, his mistake was attachment. But see the strange. Bharat Maharaj was very compassionate to the deer. He compromised his spiritual standard because this compassionate quality, the kindness is very, very special quality, highest quality in one's life for the soul. Therefore, Lord is so compassionate that next life, because of his attachment, Bharat Maharaj attained the form of deer. But because of the compassionate nature of Lord Krishna, he can remember his devotional act, devotional practice, his mistake in his past life. The Lord expressed his compassion because of the attitude of compassion only. Therefore, that is a mistake, but compassion cannot be neglected. And that compassion, at the same time, that compassion cannot be transformed into attachment, or it cannot be expressed for illusory protection or something else. Therefore, Bharat Maharaj was attached. He compromised with his sadhana. He forgot Krishna at the time of death. He was in false ego, thinking, I am the protector. This was the problem. Compassion is not the problem. He said, I am the... In that translation, Lord Prabhupada explained very nicely that there was no one for the protection of the deer than me. I am his father, I am his mother. But in reality, this is the expression of ego. Therefore, compassion should not be clouded by egoistic desire. Then that is illusion. Maharaj generally says, become the instrument of compassion of the supreme compassion, Krishna. Always he says like that. And Lord Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitraha karunayevacha. Adveshta, non-envious, sarvabhutanam, all living entities. Not that only human beings or relatives. No, sarvabhutanam. Maitraha, be friendly with everyone. Karunayevacha, kindness. And this karuna is exactly common in all these qualities. Adveshta, I am non-envious. You can't be non-envious without compassion. There is compassion in non-envious also. You have friendship, but there is an act of compassion in friendship. And karuna, that is exactly, by nature, it is act of compassion. So in this way, this quality is very, very important. Important for everyone. Compassion is the nature of soul. It cannot be separated from the soul. Because we are the part and parcel of the supreme compassion. Therefore, our nature is compassion. That is there. So it is said, Paropakaraya phalanti vriksha, Paropakaraya bahanti nadi, Paropakaraya duhanti gava, Paropakaraya idam sariram. The trees are flourishing for paropakar, for compassion. The rivers flows for paropakar, for compassion. The cows give milk out of compassion, for paropakar. Therefore, the significance of body is in charity or compassion. Paropakaraya idam sariram. This body is meant for paropakara. Even human body is specially designed for paropakara. By nature, others' body is designed for paropakara. By nature, human body is also designed for paropakara, but there is a freedom in human form. Therefore, we think that paropakar karna hai ya nahi karna hai. But unless until you do paropakara, you can't attain spiritual world, and you can't attain also happiness in this world. It is said, Murkha nahi dadati artha, nara daridraya sankaya, prajnapahattu vitaranti artha, nara daridraya sankaya. Murkha, a foolish person, do not give anything to anyone because of fear of losing wealth. Similarly, a wise person give everything to everyone because of fear of losing wealth. The same reason is there कि a foolish person never gives anything to anyone because he thinks पैसा खत्म हो जाएगा तो क्या होगा. But wise person knows कि दान नहीं देंगे तो पैसा खत्म हो जाएगा. Generally it is said, in संसार में ऐसा कोई आपने देखा नहीं रहेगा कि दान दे के उसका पैसा खत्म हो गया. नहीं, ऐसा एग्जाम्पल है ही नहीं. लेकिन हमने ऐसा देखा रहेगा, जो दान नहीं दिया है, भोग करते करते उसका पैसा खत्म हो गया है, तो करोड़पति से रोडपति बन सकता है भोग करते करते. तो कहने का अर्थ है दैट दिस क्वालिटी ऑफ कंपैशन इज वेरी वेरी एसेंशियल इन लाइफ. Devotee has compassion both for body and soul. Therefore, when you say compassion, it is not only for the body, but it is for the soul also. Therefore, preaching Krishna consciousness is the greatest activity of compassion. Prabhupada says in 13th chapter, in the section of Jnana, verse number 8 to 12, he writes in one point, Ahinsa mein batate hain. He says that not preaching Krishna consciousness is hinsa. Therefore, when you preach Krishna consciousness, that is ahimsa, that is greatest compassion in this world. Therefore, compassion is a separate thing. It is a part of devotion, and sadhana is also a part of devotion. Both should be practiced. Both should not be compromised or neglected in one's life. Lord Shiva drank poison, but he is Vaishnavanam yatha sambhu. It is his compassion. देवताओं ने अमृत पिए, देव ही रहे, लेकिन भगवान शिव ने विष पिए और महादेव बन गए. Therefore, the greatest quality is compassion. और जब अमृत निकला, शिव जी को कोई पूछा ही नहीं, बुलाया ही नहीं कोई, आ जाओ थोड़ा अमृत पियो करके. लेकिन शिव जी विष पी के शांत. क्यों नहीं बुलाया? अरे विष पिया तो कुछ हुआ ही नहीं उनको, अमृत की क्या जरूरत है. Therefore, he drank vish out of compassion. Haridas Thakur tolerated the torture of Muslims, but he forgave them. Not always, वो forgive किया, ठीक है चलेगा. But the point is that because of compassion, Dadhicha Muni gave up his body for the protection of Devata because of compassion. Jatayu gave up his life for the protection of Sita Devi because of compassion. Draupadi was compassionate to mother of Aswasthama, and she protected the life of Aswasthama. वासुदेव दत्त कंपैशनेट टू दी क्या बोलते हैं कीड़ा insects, okay, from his body, from his part of bodily lepers. So this is exactly act of compassion. And Maharaj once Sindhu Tai Mataji came here, okay, na? And Maharaj gave a large amount of donation to her. So this is act of compassion. The compassion is also a devotional service if your intention is pleasing Krishna. Therefore, intentionally, we should have the attitude of pleasing Krishna while doing all compassionate activity in our life. Lord Ram was searching for Sita. On the way, he met Jatayu. Out of compassion, he liberated. He is in anxiety. He is in separate from his dearmost Sita. But out of compassion, he liberated Jatayu. Out of compassion, he liberated Savri on the way. Out of compassion, he liberated Kavanda also, one Rakshas, by killing him. So he is searching Sita Devi. She was in anxiety, but Lord Ram never forgot his act of compassion, because Lord cannot be separated from compassion. Therefore, when he kills someone, he attains liberation, the highest position, highest goal of life. That is his highest act of compassion. This is the point. Therefore, Swayambhu Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj, verse number 4.11.13, Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said, Titikshaya karunaya maitraha chakhila jantusu samatvena cha sarvatma Bhagavan samprasidatav. It is said, Didikshaya karunaya, the quality of tolerance, karuna, compassion, friendship, akshila jantusu, towards all living entities. By this quality, Bhagavan samprasidati, Lord Krishna is very much satisfied. Therefore, this quality is very, very important in life. Prithu Maharaj says, Puman yosit yuta kriva atmasambhava adhamah bhutesu nirankusaha nrupanam tadvadha avadha. He says, any cruel person, be he a man, woman, or important enough, who is only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities, may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. Nrupanam tadvadha avadha. Therefore, cruel personality must be killed if they are not compassionate. And the government should take care of this. Otherwise, many Kerala stories will happen. It's like that. Therefore, they should be punished. So, therefore, we should be intellectual, not emotional. So, in case of Bharat Maharaj, he was emotional. Therefore, by practicing devotional service, हम इंटेलेक्चुअल वे से प्रैक्टिस करना है और इसके साथ साथ हमारा जो इमोशन है उसको कंट्रोल करना अत्यंत आवश्यकता है. If compassion destroys our attachment to Krishna, that is illusion. In case of Arjun, it was happened. But out of emotion, Yudhishthira Maharaj decided to stay in forest after Varunavarta incident for lifetime because of emotion. But Vyasadeva comes there and preach Yudhishthira Maharaj and all Pandavas that you are the person who can spread Krishna consciousness in this world. That is great necessity. Therefore, be intellectual, don't emotional. Go to the Hastinapur and become the king and take care of the citizens so that they can practice devotional service. Therefore, king is there not to supply just food and shelter. That is compassion. That is essential. That is a need. But the key part of activity is to spread Krishna consciousness, to help others to practice bhakti. Just as in hospital, medication is the key part. treatment of the disease is the key part of the hospital. Hospital means treatment. Hospital is known for treatment, for medication, not for food, not for shelter, not for accommodation, not for VIP, AC wards, but that is also there. That is also essential. Therefore, we should take care of the essential elements. At the same time, we should take care of the essence of that elements, essence of our work. The essence of our work is to preach Krishna consciousness and practice Krishna consciousness, but we should also very compassionate to provide the essential things to the personalities, to the society, with the spirit of detachment. That is essential. Prahlad Maharaj was not emotional. Prahlad Maharaj allowed his father to be killed by Narsingadev, but never allowed his devotion to be killed. So this is intellectual. Therefore, we should be very intellectual, not emotional. Vasudev, father of Lord Krishna, Vasudev allowed his sons, 6 sons, to be killed by Kansa, but never given up his attachment to Krishna. Therefore, he is intellectual, not emotional. Dasharatha Maharaj allowed Lord Ram to go to the forest. He died, but he never compromised his इमोशनल हिज इंटेलेक्चुअल एक्टिविटी. हम सोचते हैं कि दशरथ महाराज इमोशनल हो गए. नहीं, लॉर्ड राम से डिजायर. लॉर्ड राम को अलाउ नहीं किया जाएगा, वन में जाना नहीं है, मना कर देंगे तो राम जी दुखी हो जाएंगे. Therefore, Dasharatha Maharaj died, but he allowed Lord Ram to go to the forest. Because this is the way we should be very attached to the will of Krishna. And sometimes we have to control our emotion. That is required. And Lord Ram also left Dasharatha Maharaj. He knew very well that my father is going to die when I disappear, when I went to the forest. My father can't stay alive without me. But he was intellectual, not emotional. He went forest and he tolerated the pain of the separation of his father. So the point is that we have to handle both this compassion and devotion. So we have to handle devotion with our heart, and we have to handle the compassion with our intellect. That is very, very important in our life. So in dharma, compassion is the root and fruit, both. There are 4 principles of dharma. That is compassion, austerity, purity, and what is there? Truthfulness, satyata. These are the 4 principles of dharma. But one can compromise with tapasya. One can compromise with purity. One can compromise with austerity when there is a need to express with compassion. Sometimes. That is shown in different way by different personality. Hanuman compromised his purity when he entered into the palace of Ravana, because he has the compassion to protect Sita Devi. This is for love for Krishna, love for Ram, that is there. But he compromised his purity. Parvati Devi compromised her tapasya. Then Shiv Purana it is mentioned, Parvati Devi was performing tapasya to get Lord Shiva as her husband. But Lord Shiva appeared there just to test the heart of Parvati. He became a crocodile and he tried to kill a boy inside a reservoir of water, and Parvati Devi saw it. And he left the tapasya, protected that boy. By this attitude, Lord Shiva was very satisfied. And he said, there is no need of tapasya. You can become my wife. It's like that. Thus, she compromised his tapasya. Lord Krishna compromised with the truth, satyata, for protecting Arjuna. Apna pratigya ko tode. So, this is exactly act of compassion by compromising truth or satyata. Lord Buddha came in this world, rejected Veda, but established the principle of compassion. So sometimes it is seen by different devotees and Lord also, That for compassion they compromised everything. And Lord Ram is ready to forgive Ravana also because of his compassion. But at the end, he killed him. Therefore, we have to balance the intellectual understanding at the same time emotional understandings. Therefore, it is in case of Bharat Maharaj, the compassion has no problem, but because of attachment, he has to go through different life, one life extra, two life extra for his liberation. So in this way, we should handle both our quality of compassion at the same time our spiritual practice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai.